entering this presidency trying to define his place in history. So he has a bunch of tactics, talking about Panama, talking about tariffs and so forth. But he really wants to be is Jefferson to Roosevelt to Reagan to Trump.
Is he trying to sort of build on the legacy he's already made, or is he trying to show that he's a different?
Not to be on the fence, but a combination of the two. It's not what he's talking about is not a total redirection from his first mandate. I think he's approaching it with experience. I think he's approaching it with a stronger team because one of his big mistakes the first time was he was an outsider that got him elected, but he came into the White House without a team, without a strong plan. Whereas this time he seems to be stronger on both. His cabinet looks like it will be largely accepted. There was talk last week that he could sign up to 100 executive orders. The word today is it's up to 200 today. So he's going to be active.
You'll need a lot of ink in that pen, I think.
Well, yeah, and if you look at his signature, it's a very big signature.
It's a robust signature.
It will take a while.
How many pens will he have to use?
Exactly.
So we're also seeing Trump sort of bypassing traditional media, using X as his main voice to communicate with his supporters. How has that played out in these pivotal weeks leading up to the inauguration?
It actually has had a major impact. In his first mandate, one of his weaknesses was that he was not on the positive side of traditional media. Let's put it that way. They were finding fault. They were promoting some of his weaknesses and so forth. He has realized that he is much better just speaking directly as possible to the American people. He is also he's a communicator. You can love his style or hate his style, but he's a communicator. He talks. He says stuff that other people will not. And somehow he gets away with it. And so therefore, using the newer media, he can literally say what he wants when he wants. So it can be 2 a.m, he can say it.
What about the ways he tries to position himself on the global stage? You mentioned it a bit about him trying to be a historic president, but I'm also wondering about his musings towards Canada, how that's sort of bolstering his messaging.
So if you look at the how he talks about Canada, say let's take the tariffs for example. The tariffs, he's spoken about tariffs as a means of protecting the U.S. economy for 30 plus years. So well before he was a politician, he was already talking about promoting tariffs as a tactic to achieve something. I think the tariffs, he talks big. So he doesn't say, well, that may be a 2 or 3% tariff. No, 2 or 3 is nothing. So he goes 25. And he may settle for 5. And he may settle for 0 if Canada does A, B, and C. The messaging about tariffs is partly to Canada, but it's mainly to Americans. It's I will defend our country. That's what he's really saying. He talks about he wants border security, but he wants border security to position himself as I am the defender of our country.
Do you think Trump will continue using tariffs and other economic tools as part of a broader strategy to project power over Canada?
If it works, yes. I mean, in the late 1980s, in one of my business classes, we studied the art of the deal. He's still doing it. I mean, Mr. Trudeau just has to read the book.
I think I studied that when I was in
university. He just has to read the book. He's still doing it. The man has not changed. He still is a negotiator. If it works, he'll do it again. I mean, he mentioned tariffs, and our prime minister was on the first plane to Florida.
What do you make of his ruffling of political feathers leading up to the inauguration?
Yeah, he remains a person who, even if you support him, you probably periodically go, did you have to say that? But that's his style. He does not want to be predictable. And in international affairs, that plays to his part of his strength, right? Does the president of China know exactly what Trump is going to do? I don't think so. He would define himself. He would like himself defined, his brand defined as a great American president, and the world's afraid of me.
You almost mixed in there Trudeau. So let's go there.
Sorry.
Let's go there. Well, what do you think about the relationship between Canada and the U.S. and how his relationship will form with Canadian leadership, especially at a time where we don't necessarily know how long it's going to be until we see a new leader in Canada?
Yeah, we actually right now are in this, I would say, bad situation. And this is not being partisan. We have a bit of a vacuum of leadership the day of the inauguration, when the president of the United States has actually trained his eyes on us. I mean, a normal inauguration would just be ceremonial day as far as Canada is concerned. That's not the case. And the fact that we have a prorogued parliament, the fact that we have a prime minister who has stepped down from the position, and no one clear leader to take over, we're not in a great position leadership-wise. Who really speaks for Canada? Right now, the message I hear most often is Doug Ford.
Yeah.
And you can like him or hate him as a politician, but he's out there talking. Ontario is advertising like crazy. As I watch the news programs in the U.S. news programs, I see the Ontario ad. Frankly, I see my office building more often on Fox News and CNN than anything.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in. Such a short conversation, but you always bring so much life to these topics.
Always happy to come in. Have a great day.
Dave Bussier is a marketing professor and a political watcher at the University of Windsor.